the thing is, for lots of Nigerians, they cannot understand why their country, as blessed as it is, would continue to suffer like this. Over time, Nigerians have lamented, oh, let's fix our refineries. If we had refineries working, no one would give us the excuse that they are importing fuel at so and so rate or and so rate. No one would tell us about foreign exchange affecting the price of, importation or the cost of importation and even the cost of crude and all that. Why do we not have a situation where, in all of this, instead of talking about palliatives, by the way, the Tinubu administration, President Tinubu has said, look, they're going to review the whole 8,000 naira palliative distribution or disbursement. And so, well, we hope to see what they come up with next. But then, if we had working refineries, no one would be talking about all of these issues of palliatives and all. So why, instead of distributing 8,000 naira or giving monies to people, why not fix the refineries or build new refineries or even get people, do a PPP and get refineries working in the country? By so doing, we're going to have a different situation. Maybe we'll just have PMS flooding the streets and flooding the fuel stations. Why is it so hard to do? The NLC has rejected the issue of the palliative, the 8,000 naira. They're also saying, look, this whole thing seems like a charade, and they're saying it's robbing the poor, the already impoverished Nigerians, robbing the poor to pay and feed the rich. Because, well, when you're talking about distributing 8,000 naira to 12 million people, and then you're giving 400 people, 460 people 70 billion naira. I mean, does it just make sense? That's what they're saying. We'll be talking with my guest as soon as we have him on. But before then, let's get your thoughts in. Call 090-7353-0044 and 090-8766-8888. Hello, good morning.
Finally, I got you. Ian, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Comrade Haruna. Good to have you.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
No see, no hear. But I got your message this morning, though.
Yeah, thank you.
Good to have you. How did the new price hike hit you?
Ian, the road is kind to you.
Of course, it has to be. Myself, I parked my car. I don't think I'm worthy of driving at this time. Go ahead, talk to me.
See, I'm telling you, the road is kind to you. Anyway, that's by the way. You see, are we addressing the real situation on ground? Because since Mr. President assumed office, he have never mentioned what is wrong with our refineries, and these are the ways we are moving to solve it. Because if our refineries are working, all of international price or whatever will not come into our domain. How does dollar affect our commodity here if we are producing it? We don't even need dollar, except we are exporting it to neighboring African countries elsewhere. They should look inward and see how to solve this issue before it gets out of hand. Because yesterday, if you observe, after the announcement of the breaking news of the increment, in fact, Nigerians angry. People are just calling and expressing their feelings. So I beg of Mr. President should quickly respond to the situation at hand and see how he can solve it. Thank you very much.
Very well said. Comrade Haruna, thank you very much for calling. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Anyway, try to call me back, please. It seems like the network is doing us a really terrible one. I've been trying to reconnect with my guest, but it's been quite difficult. Joining 09073530044 and 09087668888. So, a whole fuel subsidy was removed. The only actual thing that Nigerians used to enjoy from the government. Before now, a lot of people ran with the narrative that subsidy was for the rich. Meanwhile, subsidy is actually for everybody. Because the truth is, now that subsidy has been removed, we're seeing the prices of virtually everything skyrocketing. So, well, it maybe that subsidy needs to get back. Now the question is, if the prices of PMS, like I said before, when we first had this price review to about 537 naira, I mentioned that if the prices go up, like they say, if market forces continue to, affect the prices and they go up, wouldn't the federal government at some point be forced to bring up in some level of, subsidy again? Now, if that happens, because I know that if fuel goes up to 1,000 naira per liter, the federal government would have to step in with monies to say, look, sell this at a cheaper rate to Nigerians. And when that happens, who would be at advantage? Who would still be stealing from us? Who would that benefit in the actual sense? Hello, good morning. Okay, again, the networks would not allow us have this smooth conversation, but don't give up on me. Let's keep talking. Keep trying to get across. Now, if that happens, who would we have benefited anything? Would we have, wouldn't it be going back to the same place that we're coming from, the same thing that we've been running away from? And now, wouldn't the people who were profiting even profit more? Because naturally, before now, we never heard that federal government was paying up to 300 naira as subsidy per liter. But somehow prices of fuel went up to 500 plus from 198 naira, right? So if that's the case, wouldn't these people who have been benefiting be benefiting more? And what happened to, the forex? We say we want to unify the forex rates, and that would help, reduce the price, the forex foreign exchange against the dollar and other currencies. But the unification hasn't really yielded. It's going to 60 days now. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Prince.
Good morning, Moses.
Your program, at least, this Moses. At least they should give you 3 to 4 hours now, because a lot of us were trying this morning. We couldn't
I'm
go through.
so sorry, Moses. In fact, a lot of people sent messages I couldn't take. I'm sorry.
Well, you raised an issue this morning, even though there was an acute emotional threat all over Nigerians over this sad news. So the question that Nigerians demand an answer, which you threw it before the gun, because this is radio media, is that what is wrong with our refinery that we cannot fix it? What is actually happening? What is wrong? We have an allocation already. For how long should we depend on foreign exchange? For how long? How long should we depend on borrowing money? Look at the money that we're about to borrow, which is on the pipeline. 8,000 for 6 months. That is about 48,000. 48,000 as a palliative for 12 million Nigerians. Would that settle this problem on the ground? So the issue on this ground now is that as far as a competitive market, where the high price of fuel or the low price depend on the naira, on the dollar, then it is advisable that we should stop importing fuel. Let us put our refineries in order. That is the cry of Nigerians. You are denying people a lot of unemployment who are into the market employment world today. If these refineries, all these 4 refineries are put in order, it will create rooms for some of our unemployment. Yes, that is the challenge we have. Then how can we depend on crude oil, taking it outside to be refined and come back?
Okay.
As if there are people who are making merchandise out of this and they don't want our refineries to work. So the question is, what is happening? We cannot put our refineries in order.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Moses. I have my guest now standing by, Mr. Samson Ojutala, economist and public affairs analyst, joining us. Mr. Samson, good morning again. Thank you so much for joining in.
Yes, good morning to you, Prince, and good morning, Nigeria.
Good morning. How are you doing today? And let me start by asking, how did the new pump price hit you?
Well, we are managing. As an economist, we must adjust to whatever price the market forces hit us with. So, for us, it's something we are ready for. and it's just for us to adjust our expenses as regards our standard of living. Of course, an increase in price will definitely translate into lower standard of living, because things you've been doing before, you can no longer do them as you want to do. So meaning you must adjust your standard of living. And of course, a higher price will be lower standard of living. And pretty much speaking entirely about the country, this increase in price will further push many Nigerians into poverty region. Now, if you look at the United Nations standard of those that are tagged poor, that is poverty index, you will discover that this marginal increase, as it were, have further pushed millions of Nigerians into the poverty line. So Nigerians are becoming poorer day by day as long as you have increase in price. As it may, we are hopeful that since the invisible hand will be the one regulating the price, then we expect the price to further come down in the nearest future.
Now, how would this price go down? Because we've heard this before now. When the prices went to 500 plus, Nigerians were anticipating that the next time they're going to hear of a price review, it would be downwards and not going up again. Another question would be the fact that with the market forces determining the price, is this at what point would the prices begin to come down, and what would force the prices down? No. With the market forces determining the price, what happened is we still expect a further increase in price. If now currently when it was 560, what is that right now? When it was 540, 537, 540. The international oil market price was $70 per barrel. Now, a marginal increase of about $10, which makes it over $80 per barrel, gives us the 617. Meaning in future, if we hit a target of about $100, meaning we might be buying fuel at the rate of 800 naira or thereabout. Now, what this translates to is if we have a lower price at the international oil market price of, let's say, $20, then we can buy fuel as cheap as 100 naira per liter. Now, Mr. Ojitalayo, now there are other factors that affect this. Foreign exchange, for instance, the NNPC and the likes are saying that the forex rate, the dollar against the naira now is at about 800 or 830 naira to a dollar, and that's one of the reasons they're giving for the price review. If these are the factors, we have more than one factor now affecting the price: international rates for crude, and then also the Nigerian foreign exchange. All of these, at what point do you see it ever going down? Because it's more than one factor now that's affecting the price.
If you factor in exchange rate, I also want to factor in logistics. That is, we will now want to look at the holistic parameters affecting the price per liter that Nigerians at the domestic scene will buy the product. Now, it is not only foreign exchange that will determine the price. I only single out the international oil market price. Now, if you also give me the exchange rate, I will also give you the logistics price. I will also give you the freight and the cost of maintaining those vehicles and every other parameters that the importers will want to factor in determining their prices. Every capitalist goes into the market to make money. So if they gave us the reason for high price to be the international market price, and you want to bring this, then we will also look at the other parameters that will definitely affect this. Now, at what point will the price start nosediving? That is at the point at which, one, the international market price is going down, then the naira is gaining strength. And how can the naira gain strength? If we remain at the crude stage, the naira will not gain strength. So how can the naira gain strength? The naira can only gain strength if one will reduce importation of goods Now, how can we reduce importation if we are still depending on final product? What this translates into is that the president not paying subsidy saves about 1.4 trillion naira per month. This 1.4 trillion, there are things it can do in our refinery. So it's you putting in place our refineries, making sure that the money you have saved for subsidy translate into refurbishing or building up a new refinery. Legacy will be made if this current administration can give Nigerians at least one. We are not even asking you to do much. Give us one refinery. That way, you can force down the price of this product, because why? You are not importing. So dollars will not be playing a huge part in influencing how much Nigerians get this product. So what we are saying in essence is we already have Dangote. So if the government can corroborate the effort of Dangote refinery and give us a refinery from the 1.4 trillion naira they will be saving per month.
Mr. Ojutelayo, the federal government says they're saving 400 billion naira on subsidy monthly. Now, the question would be...
Somebody, Mr. Prince, before you complete,
yes.
Continue. Meaning somebody is not being sincere with us. How can you be paying 400 billion when we ask you to stop paying, you are telling us you are paying 400 billion. Now, when you were paying 1.4 trillion. So who do we believe? Should we take the amount you were paying when you were paying as the standard, or we should take when you stop paying? Because when you stop paying, you say it's 400. Then when you were paying, you were claiming that you are paying 1.4. So which one do we take?
It's a little confusing now because the last administration said they paid 3-point-something trillion naira in about 6 months or so, and 6-point-something trillion naira in a whole year. So the figures are quite confusing, which is why many Nigerians are saying that if the reason for removal of subsidy is corruption, because all of these figures bandied around are quite, confusing to Nigerians. If the reason for subsidy removal is corruption, when subsidy benefits about 200 million people, and then just less than maybe less than 400 people, or maybe let's say 1,000 people are the ones who are benefiting from this corruption, why not tackle the corruption and leave the subsidy that benefits the average Nigerian?
Now, the African elders have a saying. They said you can't expect a healthy teeth from a rotten mouth. Now, the corruption we are looking at has permeated the entire fabric of the system. Somebody once said, he said, those that are in power now, chopping money in local parlance, chopping money. He said they are lower than those of us, I use the word those of us that are outside the system, that are waiting for our own opportunity to go there and chop. Now, the reason why you will discover that they cannot tackle corruption from the root is that everybody is involved. If Mr. President, I don't subscribe to this idea of saying the president is not corrupt, it is those that are around him that are corrupt, it is those that are around him that are making him to feel bad. It's a lie. All of them are, okay, let me say all of us. Nobody should come and exonerate himself. The truth is this: how can you be telling us I start hearing this language from Yaradua? Yaradua is not corrupt. It's those around him. Jonathan came. Jonathan is not corrupt. It's those around him. The other one came. See, the thing is, corruption, tackle it from the base. And until you get somebody with a strong political will, because if you want to tackle it, people are already telling Mr. President, we paid for you to get into power. So you can't come to block our source of income. And where is their source of income? To milk Nigerians dry. For me, I would say we should just close our eyes to whatever is happening in terms of how much they are billing us. They will not be able to bill us further if we allow corruption to go, subsidy to go. Let's just leave the subsidy to go and pay whatever price they want us to pay. Then we can begin to ask questions from our government that, okay, the money will be paid before we can decide to take them at 7 trillion per annum. And okay, 7 trillion, where is the accountability for 7 trillion? And mind you, will be making a grievous mistake if we allow this government to pay that 8,000 naira palliative. Yesterday, Mr. President has said they are no longer paying 8,000 that they should review it, they should review the palliative measure. Now, they shouldn't forget about the palliative measure. Nobody should give us any palliative. They should use the money saved from subsidy removal to go and get us a refinery. Because like I told you earlier, the price will keep fluctuating with the international oil market price and with what's it called? The FX, foreign exchange at the international market. So which is two. Number three, the logistics, the cost of moving those goods here. So if you give us a refinery, you will take off the international oil market price from us. Number two, nobody will be telling you he's moving one goods from one point to the other. So you have taken away the logistics. Number three, if you do this, then whatever is happening at the international scene as regards oil price affecting us, you have taken all those power away, and that way you'll be able to force down significantly the price of price at which Nigerians are obtaining. And this is a very huge mistake. Now let me give you this analogy. This current administration is claiming that Obi said he will remove subsidy if he gets to power. Hello, are you with me?
I'm with you, 100. We can hear you.
Atiku said he will remove subsidy when they get to power. So why are we crying that Mr. President Tinubu remove subsidy? Now this is where the problem is. If a dentist tells you that your toothache is as a result of one of your bad gum and teeth, that the need is for him to remove the teeth to correct the pain you are going through, that he will need to remove one of your teeth. Now you now hear that the doctor said, the dentist said, that he will remove one of your teeth and you will have peace, you will have no more pain. You now decide to go and meet a carpenter and say, carpenter, if this my teeth is removed, I will no longer have pain. The carpenter now uses a hammer and remove one of your teeth. Then your pain now multiplies times 1 million. That is the exact problem we are having. If Obi said that he will remove subsidy when he gets to power, if you listen to Obi's debate, Obi has been saying, Peter Obi, I believe you understand what I'm trying to say. In his debate, he has always been saying, if he will remove subsidy, he will put in place XYZ measure, like get us the refinery. See, subsidy must go, but how will subsidy go? You face out, nobody wakes asleep and wake up and remove subsidy once. You face it out. Like, this is how much we are paying. This is how we remove it. But before we remove it, we will have built a refinery. We will have put in place transportation mode that will be cheaper for the working class community. Those are things Obi said he will do before he will remove subsidy. You were not coming to debate. I mean the current administration. They didn't come to any debate. If you follow the trend, the political history of this administration, they didn't come to any debate. They didn't engage Nigerians to actually tell Nigerians how they will get subsidy out. But they just heard that Obi said he will do it. They didn't even follow suit on how Obi intends to do it. They just went there and go and remove the subsidy. And that is why we are where we are. If it is the dentist that is supposed to remove the teeth, he will know that he ought to give you an anesthetic to cushion the impact of the removal on you. So these people, they didn't give us any anesthetic. They just came and they removed the teeth. And now everybody is in severe pain. Some states are even saying don't come to work more than 3 times a week so that you won't be paying too much transport. And these are issues that we should look at. If we say corrupt, and now, see, we need to be very, very careful, because the way we are going is as if they just want to provoke Nigerians and just get us back to the street, and at the end of the day, they will circumvent the electoral process that is already in court, just like somebody said on his WhatsApp status. Because if anything should happen to any of the justices, they will just truncate the process and say, no, they can't allow this. And particularly, in short, if there's any protest, the Southeast Nigerians should remove their hands from any protest. Because anything they do, they will help them to multiply it. So this government, they lack sincerity of purpose. They are not ready to do anything. I just see them as somebody that's ready to just grab power by any means and just exploit the system. If not, how can you come into power and the first day, your first statement, your first utterance, to tell us that you want to put us in severe pain? The first speech, you didn't put in place any mechanism, you didn't do anything, you just remove this thing. No, at least you will have paid once and you tell Nigerians, I paid this one, I'm not paying the next. And for me not to pay the next, this is how I'm going to do it. I'll put in place XYZ. You didn't do nothing. And it is now, you are now trying to adjust Haba. It's wrong. And it's because some people are twisting Mr. President to say, we get you to power and you must rob our back. I have robbed your back. It is time for you to now rob my back. And for me, we'll move ahead if we continue along this line. Thank you.
Well said. The conversation continues. We'll get my guest a little more time and we'll talk some more, and then we'll bring you back in to share your thoughts and perspectives with us. The program is Eagles Outlook on your radio experience. You can count on. Keep it with us.
Have you ever wanted to try your hand at the South African Powerball? How about the New Zealand Lotto? Now is your chance. Betway gives you the opportunity to bet on hundreds of international draws across the world with lucky numbers. From the UK 49s to the Ireland Daily Million. Feel the thrill of getting in on the fun. Find your favorite lucky number draws today at betway.com.ng. No under 18. Bet responsibly.
Get ready for the ultimate voiceover bootcamp experience in Abuja. It's the Voiceover Bootcamp with pro-Nigerian voice actor Charles Alade, Peter Baker from the UK, Soibi Abbey, Rochelle Simpson, Quincy Son, and Hussein Amiri from Bahrain. Learn everything from scripting for voiceovers and radio ads to voiceover techniques, recording and mixing of voiceovers. Plus, receive a certificate of completion to add to your portfolio. Take advantage of our early bird special for just 30,000 naira, which closes July 8th. Late registration, 50,000 naira. Date, July 29th, 2023. Venue, The Bunker, number 3 at Barra Street, Wuse, Abuja. Time, 9 a.m. prompt. Sign up now. For more information, call 0815-863-9668 or 0813-935-9882. Voiceover Bootcamp, raising dynamic voices.
Eagles 102.3 Abuja.
You're still on to Eagles Outlook on Eagles 102.3, your radio experience you can count on. And this morning, the Eagle is looking at the new pump price for PMS, which has gone up to about 670 naira in the FCT and other parts of the country. Well, my guest has been Mr. Samson Ojutalayo, an economist and public affairs analyst, joining us in the conversation. Before we get back to taking your calls, or rather before we get back to talking with my guest, I'm going to bring in a few thoughts here. And Chuk says, good morning, Ihana Chuk. Bravo to you and the guest. Seems you are away for a while. Yes, I was. And you say welcome back. The fuel matter in this country is set to keep us agitated for a while. Market forces indeed. If an industry is deregulated, why are you still fixing prices? Please, dear OAP, kindly ask the people at the NNPCL. And that's more concern for many Nigerians. It goes on to say, I'm sincerely surprised that an astute and experienced public office holder like President Tinubu is going down this route. He should modify his modus operandi. Please. Chooks there. Thank you very much. And we go to get back with my guest now. And Mr. Ojutalayo, Nigerians are wondering why it is that at this time, even when we talk about, palliatives and all, we're not looking at renovating or fixing the refineries. We're not looking at solving the actual problem, but we're looking at giving, one of the things that was said to, when the presidency said they're going to review the palliatives from the 8,000 naira disbursement, they said they're going to give 50 million farmers fertilizer and seedlings and all of that. And the question that Labour and the likes are asking is, what register do you have of the farmers? Would it be the same register used for the anchor borrower scheme, which was said to be a colossal failure? How do we intend to distribute these palliatives or these fertilizer and all of that to the so-called farmers? Lost connection again with my guest, but I'll get you in now as we try to reconnect. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. What's your name?
Thank you very much.
My name is Vincent. I'm calling from Masaka.
I didn't get your name, sir.
Vincent.
Oh, Vincent. Good to have you, Vincent. Let's hear you, please.
Thank you for a good job. Thank you for a good job. Awareness. You see, what I want to talk about all this is that I don't know. We miss it already, right from the primary to this time. I want to say that they know what they are doing. They know what they are doing. Like some people are putting their fish refinery, do this and this, that. Market forces, all those things are blatant lie. If you fish you build 100 refineries in Nigeria, this cabal, these people, they will form a cartel. Just like OPEC, they say don't produce more than this, don't produce more than this. They will tell you that even that time say to skyrocket to 2,000 per liter. They know what they are doing. They just want to recruit all that they have spent before, and from there they start looting. That is how I see it. The issue there is that good leadership is what we needed. Like the other man is, I want to say that I cried that the ministry even handed over too early. I'm telling the truth. Because all these things we are seeing now, from National Assembly to executive and so on, to the judiciary court, and so on, it wouldn't have happened. Look at how people are suffering today. The families are balkanized. Father against mother against children, and transfer of aggression from mother to father, from father to children, and so on and so forth. Psychological breakdown. Where are we heading to? Okay, as many scholars have said, why is it that these people they just announce price? Why is it that they just announce price? Why not allow the market force to take its course? They are not for everybody adjusted. What of the one they draw before? Some of them have up to 1 million liter before. And 80, you see what they are going to rate it. So, I don't know. For the palliative, it's not going anywhere. It's going to harm the people more than ever before. Okay. If you go the way that the COVID goes, the COVID way. I remember, sorry, just 1 second. I remember the time I'm from Delta State. The time that they discovered the palliative during COVID-19. Anyago, the commissioner of police, the commissioner of information, from my state, they asked him. He said they wanted to keep it so that in case there's flood in the future, they will use it. Fraud they are not seeing. It will go the same way again. Anyago, who was a journalist who's supposed to say the truth. The same thing to go. So let the government do the needful. Because people, you are pumping the football very soon. It will burst. The football will burst because we are pumping it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vincent, for calling. My guest is back online. We'll be talking to more, but before then, let's squeeze in this caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Prince Amateur.
Good morning, Clement Zion, Prince.
Thank you. Your guest spoke well, and his views are on point. But the main place I want to comment on this morning is when Tinubu says he wants to review the 8,000 naira quality to a few Nigerians who don't know how they are going to select them, to go up billions, 500 billion or thereabouts. People should be wary. The review, it doesn't really spell liberty for Nigerians from the economic hardship they are pouring Nigerians into. Now, when you say review, don't forget that the eagle-eyed men around him who are waiting to function on this palliative and the package are still around, networking for the next move. If Tinubu now says he wants to give some farmers fertilizer, and it assuages for all the problems Nigerians are going through, both artisans, the civil servants, and businessmen. So the one they will just give the farmers covers everybody. It's a laughing matter. In previous administrations, we have had where they say they give rice farmers billions of naira to subsidize their production. And instead of bringing the rice down to the wherewithal of the ordinary Nigerian, rice became 30,000 or something thousand, whereas the foreign rice who were driving away was selling for 16,000 naira. So that means the government is still not, they are not yet convinced what they want to do to assuage Nigerians of these problems that they plunge us into. Now, I almost talked in a car language when somebody was saying because the price of crude has gone up in the international community. So Nigerians have to also pay more for fuel, courtesy of GB, the self-acclaimed apologies of the government. Now, if crude goes up in the international, I see fuel, I see dollar going up to 1,000 naira, and we're paying up to 1,000 naira for fuel a liter in this country. I see it coming. Make everybody watch out. Now, there's no time we had that the price of crude. There was a time during the COVID-19, crude was almost being given free of charge. If you have a bucket to come and fetch it, now you know what you can do. But it didn't change the amount Nigerians were paying for fuel in this country. It didn't change it. So if crude goes down in the international community, they will tell us they don't have sufficient money they are not making enough money from fuel to solve the problems of Nigeria, and they tax us more. If crude goes up, we now begin to pay more, but we are a major producer in this country. All these are economic theories for impoverishing Nigeria. They are economic theories for poverty. They don't have the key to our sustainability. I keep on saying it. People should follow my points sometimes and watch out what the governments are up to doing. They are not solving our problems. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Clement Zion Prince. Mr. Ojutalayo, let's look at some of these other issues. As an economist, what are your concerns when you hear that about 90 or 99% of the nation's revenue, like was reported yesterday, is being spent on debt servicing? What concerns do you have when you hear such things?
Well, 2021 was when we said there was this program that was organized by the National Institute of Legislative Studies in what was the name of Rockville Hotel, and we said that Nigeria does not have the capacity to take in any further loans, and it was a gathering of economists from various Nigerian universities, not maybe in the north, like I went in for University of Abuja. So we said, after doing the analysis, we said based on our GDP, Nigeria doesn't have the capacity to borrow any other money. The legislators, they were there because it was organized by Institute of Legislative Studies. They were there, and we're telling them that, please, to approval. And not like we were begging, but based on data, like we were showing you figures that no approval should be granted for any further borrowing. But because, look at the recent borrowing now, they said we are borrowing how much? 500 billion, and 70 billion will go to only the legislators. Now, you see, Chidoka said something. Chidoka, former FRC. He said the current corporate leaders we have now, that those in need are not those we need. They are not the people we need, but they themselves, they are in need. Now, when you collect 500 billion and you are going to give us some 800 people 70 billion, then the rest 200 million Nigerians, over 200 million Nigerians, will now spend the remaining 400 billion. Something is wrong somewhere. So, you see, you discover that even when these people know that it is not reasonable to borrow, but because their palm has been greased or will be greased, they will still approve such loan. And the process of approval is even annoying, because the way they do it, you just want that. You just don't have any conscience at all. So, as it stands, we don't have need to say we want to borrow again. Let us manage what we have. Maybe you have removed subsidy, and there is an amount we are getting from subsidy. Now, you want to widen the scope of the tax net. You want more people to be captured in taxes, which means you will be generating more revenue. Then, can you block leakages in places like NIPASA, that is the Port Authority, aviation, every other sector? Can you block the leakages that comes from those areas? If you can do that, we have no need to be borrowing in this country. We are a rich country. So you have stopped the one that will affect the poor, which is the small enjoyment they are getting from the government. You have removed it. And why is it even difficult for the country, the leaders to make life easier for Nigeria? It's just that they get there because of their own selfish interest. Because look at subsidy that we're enjoying, they've removed it. And fine, we don't want it to go. We are looking at borrowing. We have no need to borrow. Block the leakages in the system, and we discover that there is no need for us to borrow. But because those in power, they are the hungry vulture that will keep milking the country, they will not block those leakages because that is where they get their own money from. Remember when the Abuja airport was shut down? Under 1 month, they fixed Kaduna-Abuja route. And there was no issue of kidnapping, robbery, or anything on Abuja-Kaduna highway. Why? Because the high and mighty in the country will be using that route. Now, what that tells you is that because the problem of the country is not affecting the high and the mighty, they will not fix that problem. There is a road around Galadimawa roundabout. The day it killed the director, that was the day they find the solution to that road. The reason why Boko Haram will persist is because nobody big has been killed. Kill one big guy, you will discover that under 48 hours they will resolve the issue of Boko Haram. Now, leave that. Coming back to debt, the reason why these people will keep borrowing is that because of their own selfishness, that's why they will not allow the country to breathe a fresh air. I gave all this analysis around Boko Haram and Abuja Kaduna Road to just tell you that these people, because of their own selfish interests, because of their own parochial sentiments, they will not want Nigeria to live in peace. They will not want Nigeria to have the comfort that they rightly deserve. They will just stay and be milking the country dry as long as it benefits them. If we see anybody shouting corruption, 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 it is because they are not in power. Let them get to power. They will begin to sing a different tune. Look at, for a case study, Festus Keyamo. When Festus Keyamo was out of power, I was thinking he's the holiest man. But when he got to power, what did he do? He messed himself up, was speaking from both sides of the mouth. He just, I don't want to read anything about him again. The same thing goes for every other leader. When they are out of power, they will be singing. I don't want to talk about those that are doing what they call political jumpology. Don't forget about those ones. But one of those ones that have been consistent, you will think that they will take us to El Dorado when they get to power. But the moment they get there, it will look as if they have the magic one they were weaving. They've lost it. So when it comes to the issue of borrowing, it is not even supposed to be a subject for discussion if we have leaders that are putting on their thinking cap. And it doesn't take a rocket science. I don't want to talk about any political candidates in the next presidential election. But what I'm just trying to say is there are people that have shown that if they get there, had it been the candidate that most people preferred got there, it would have been easier in the sense that we will have been able to hold him accountable, because the person then that want to hold him accountable will tell you it is God that took him there, and it is his own political dexterity and all that got him there, and there is little or nothing you can do about it. So he will want to recoup whatever investment he has made in during the course of the election. But we know somebody that said he will spend money. So such a person will not go there to go and wanting to recoup whatever investment he has made during the electioneering process, because he didn't spend anything. But for somebody that was spending trillions or billions, hundreds of billions to get into power, trust me, when he gets there, if it takes him to sell half of Nigeria to recoup his money, he will sell half of Nigeria and recoup it. So that is the more reason why we are borrowing. These people have spent much to get to power. So when they get to power, what they have spent, they will want to recoup their losses or their investment. They are capitalists. They are businessmen. They are not Father Christmas. So once they were spending money, but had it been Nigerians, we have sense, because 2015 we did not have sense, 2019 we didn't have sense, 2023 we still did not have sense. So at least we received sense in 2023 and voted that the man that did not pay shishi.
So just a lot of Nigerians who disagree that they do not have sense. But this is what this means. What this means is that you know, are you with me? Are you with me? All right, seems like the network is doing us another strong one. But, basically what you've been saying, Mr. Jutalayo, is that at some point people get into the office and they borrow monies in Nigeria's names, put those monies in their private accounts, and then Nigeria begins to pay those debts. If that's the explanation, and that's the the understanding that I'm getting. But seems like would have to reconnect with you. We're taking one more call and then we wrap it up this morning on Eagles Outlook. Feel free to be that lucky caller that's going to wrap it up for us this morning. The numbers again are 09073530044 and 09087668888. And I'm going to read a message here. It's from Abdullahi Mekano. Abdullahi Mekano said, Sir, he said the truth. The best way is massive. I will not say that word. It will not come from me, Abdullahi. But thank you very much. I took your message. I appreciate you sending it in. So let's see that we can quickly wrap this up with my guest this morning. But if not, if we cannot reconnect with him, then we'll just draw the curtains at this point. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Put down the volume if you're radio. If you're calling in, please put it down so that we can hear you, okay? That's going to do us a lot of good, so we don't have to do the back and forth with hellos and more hellos. All right, but Mr. Jutalayo is back. Mr. Jutalayo, what would be your final thoughts as we close? I've been appealing to Nigerians to just keep calm and maintain their cool, and not allow themselves to be used by anyone to